and welcome to the second episode of the Introduction to Dorini series. Today we'll be learning the basics of Dorini grammar. Word order is the order in which words are put into a sentence for that sentence to make sense. Consider the English sentence, naji e in iyo. It would have an entirely different meaning if you switched on the words to say, in iyo e naji. The basic word order for English is subject, verb, object, or SVO. The subject of the sentence is the iyo, and the object is naji. However, Dorini is not a subject-object language, but a topic-comment language, which means that the word order is based around the topic rather than the subject. The topic is basically whichever noun you're talking about, and the comment is what you're saying about it. The basic word order for Dorini is verb-topic. The topic always comes last, the verb always comes first, and almost anything else you want to put in the sentence comes in between them. The sentence naji e can be translated as samoso naji. The verb comes first, samoso, and the topic comes last, naji. When you add another noun in here, it goes in between. Naji e and iyo would be samoso tondrokis naji. Verb first, topic last, everything else in the middle. But what's si here? What does that word mean? Well, pretend we drop the si. Now we have samoso tondroki naji. We know naji is the topic and samoso is the verb. But what's tondroki? Well, how do we know that this sentence means naji ate an eel rather than naji was eaten by an eel? Remember, the topic does not necessarily have to be the doer of the action. It just has to be whatever we're talking about. That could be the doer, the receiver of the action, the place where the action happened, or any other noun. In this sentence, we know naji is the topic, but we don't know whether she's the doer of the action, the receiver of the action, or something else. That's where si comes in. Si is a topic particle, meaning it specifies which role the topic has in the sentence. There are four main topic particles. Si indicates that the topic is the doer of the action, which is why we know samoso tondrokis naji means naji ate an eel. The topic particle ni, on the other hand, indicates that the topic is the receiver of the action. Samoso tondroki naji means naji was eaten by an eel. The topic particle e indicates that the topic is the place, method, or means of the action. Samoso tondroki naji bashi. It was with a knife that naji ate an eel. Here there's no real way to differentiate between naji and tondroki because they're both not the topic, and so the sentence could mean it was with a knife that an eel ate naji. But from context you can probably infer that naji is the one doing the eating here. And finally, the topic particle wa indicates that the topic is the owner or possessor of one of the other nouns, or just the general theme of the conversation. Samoso tondroki naji washaoshi. In terms of the seafood, naji ate an eel. Again, naji has to be inferred as the doer of the action just from context. Does this mean that every sentence in Dorini must have one of these topic particles? No, definitely not. There are two reasons a sentence wouldn't have a topic particle. The first reason we've already seen. The first sentence displayed, samoso naji, a topic particle is absent. So how do we know it means naji ate and not naji was eaten? Well, it's basically because every verb, when used with only one noun, like ate here, has a default preference for whether its topic will be the doer or receiver of the action. For the verb samo, eat, the default preference is for the topic to be the doer. If you want to say naji was eaten, however, you have to insert the particle ni, mostly naji. But for naji ate, you don't need si unless you particularly want to emphasize it, because it's already assumed. The second reason sentences wouldn't have topic particles is if the topic is omitted. This happens very frequently in Dorini. When it's obvious from context what the topic is, what you're talking about, then you don't need to include the topic at all, especially if it's already been mentioned in previous sentences. Once a topic particle is used with a noun, that noun stays as the topic until another topic particle is used to override it. Example, the toddler slept, ate an eel, and was chased by naji. Even in English, we don't have to mention the toddler more than once. It's just assumed to stay as the topic. And you might be wondering why there's another topic particle at the end, if the toddler stays as the topic throughout. And that's because although it stays as the topic, it does switch roles. In the first two sentences, the carried over si is fine because in both of those sentences, the toddler is the doer of the action. But in the last sentence, the toddler becomes the receiver of the action, although it stays as the topic. And so ni is needed to indicate that. Now let's practice. Try to construct the sentence, naji ate his heart, an expression meaning he fell in love with naji in Dorini. I'll give you a hint. His heart is 유진이. Pause the video and try it yourself. Show off in the comments if you get it right. Yep. How about Naji was eaten by his heart? She fell in love with him. Great job. So now let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. Verbs come first, topics come last, and anything else comes in between. Si introduces new topics as doers of the action. Ni introduces new topics as receivers of the action. I introduces new topics as vocations, manners, or means. And wa introduces new topics as possessors or themes. Topics are omitted when the verb only comes with one noun, and that noun has the preferred role of its verb. Topics are also omitted when they are implied from context or the same as the previous sentence's topic. And join us next time as we take a look at some everyday phrases you need to know in Dorini to get by. Nyoroji baiji.